We all know the legends in football, players who've lifted countless trophies, scored hundreds of goals, but for some, it only takes one moment. One single strike. One flash of brilliance to etch their name into history forever. These are some players whose legendary status was cemented by one goal. It was the 2006 World Cup semi-final between Italy and Germany. In the 119th minute, with the score still tied at 0-0, Pirlo found Fabio Grosso with a crucial through ball, and Grosso's curled strike not only sent Italy through to the final, it also led to them winning it. That goal broke German hearts, and Grosso, a defender rarely on the score sheet, had scored one of the most iconic goals in Italian football. But scoring the winner in the semis isn't as good as scoring in the final. In the finals of Euro 2016, that moment came for a player who was relatively unknown. The night was meant for Cristiano Ronaldo. Portugal had reached the finals of the tournament, facing hosts France in Paris. Ronaldo got injured in the game, and without him on the pitch, it looked like Portugal's dream was over. They held on and dragged themselves into extra time, but they needed a hero, and out of nowhere, this happened. A player no one believed in, and who barely made headlines in his career. Yet, in the 109th minute, he powered a long-range strike past Hugo Lloris and silenced the home crowd. Ronaldo cried tears of joy, but it was Eder who wrote his name into history. From unknown to unforgettable, Eder isn't the only one who wrote his name in the history books when his team needed him most. Manchester United's academy has produced some massive stars in the club's history, and this player made his mark in 2009. In April, the season was approaching its end, and Manchester United's title hopes were slipping away. At Old Trafford, they were tied 2-2 with Aston Villa, and desperately needed someone to be the hero. Enter Federico Macheda, a teenager from the academy, thrown on with hope more than expectation. But deep in stoppage time, the ball found him inside the box. He spun in one move and curled a shot into the far corner. The stadium erupted. He was barely known before that goal, but from that day on, United fans will never forget his name. In the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, Colombia faced Uruguay in the round of 16. This player was making waves with his performances, but it was this moment that earned him a dream transfer. The ball dropped to James Rodriguez outside the box. Chest control, swivel, and left-footed volley that crashed off the bar and in. It was poetry in motion. The world took notice. Next thing you know, James was signing a contract with Real Madrid, and the president said himself that the goal sold him. James wasn't the only hero in that World Cup, because in the finals, when Germany and Argentina were in a goalless deadlock in extra time, it looked to be going to penalties, and the world was watching as Leo Messi was chasing that elusive World Cup trophy. But the Germans had other ideas. Andre Schürrle floated in a cross, and Mario Götze, brought on as a sub, controlled it on his chest and struck with his left foot. He didn't even let it hit the ground, and as the ball rolled past Romero and into the net, Götze, not even a guaranteed starter, had just won Germany their 4th World Cup. One touch, one goal, immortality. Winning the World Cup for your country with the only goal. It doesn't get better than that. That's something Iniesta would agree with, because the World Cup before Götze's legendary goal ended in a similar way. Spain's golden era needed one more piece, a World Cup trophy, and they found just the man to win it for them. The 2010 final against the Netherlands was brutal and tense. As the clock ran down in extra time, Spain made one last push. The ball fell to Andres Iniesta. One touch to control, one to strike, and the ball slammed into the net. Spain had their first World Cup. A similar story happened for Greece, too. Their run to the 2004 Euros final was already nothing short of a miracle, but the final in Lisbon against Portugal was something else. In the 57th minute, Greece won on a corner. Angelos Charistias rose above everyone and powered a header into the net. Portugal were relentless after that, attack after attack, but they couldn't find the net. Greece held on and recorded not only a famous win, but their first major trophy. They were an underdog in the Euros. And Charistias became a national hero and a legend. You don't always need a trophy to become a legend. Sometimes it's about defying the odds in spectacular fashion. Rewind to the playoff semi-final between Watford and Leicester. Leicester won a penalty and a goal would have won them the game. But football has a dramatic way of writing its own scripts. The penalty was saved, and what followed was pure chaos. Watford broke into a counter-attack, and there was Troy Deeney ready to seize the moment.
Here's Hogg! Deeney! Do not scratch your eyes! You are really seeing the most extraordinary finisher!
The commentators lost their minds as the ball exploded into the net. That moment sent Watford to Wembley and Troy Deeney into club folklore. English fans are known for their love of the game, and Newcastle fans are amongst the best in the world. Stamford Bridge 2012. Newcastle was chasing a top 4 finish, and Papi Cissa had already scored once, but the goal he scored late in the game became memorable. Outside of the foot from an impossible angle. The ball swerved through the air like it was remote-controlled and flew past Peter Cech into the net. Chelsea were so dominating then, which made Cissa's goal so unforgettable. That wasn't the only Newcastle moment that created an overnight legend. Newcastle was 4-0 down to Arsenal at halftime. Game over, right? Wrong. They fought back to 4-3. And then, in the dying minutes, the ball came to Cheick Tiote at the edge of the box. He smashed it the first time. The stadium went wild as the ball hit the back of the net. 4-4 draw, a comeback for the ages. And for Tiote, a goal that made him a legend at Tyneside forever. Speaking of comebacks, the greatest one of all time was also the birthplace of an unexpected hero, the remontada. Trailing 4-0 from the first leg, Barca somehow clawed back to 5-5 on aggregate against PSG. But they needed one more. With Messi, Neymar, and Suarez on the pitch, you would assume one of them to step up. But it was Sergi Roberto who poked it home at the death.
Play it in again. Neymar on the ball now, gets onto his left foot and plays it into the box. It's in the net! It's in the net! It's in the net! It's in the net! It's in the net!
6-1 on the night. The greatest comeback in Champions League history was complete, and Sergi Roberto became an icon at the Camp Nou. These players became legends because of just one game, but Wayne Rooney has done both. We all know what he means to Manchester United, but did you know he had one of these legendary goals before it all started? At 16 years of age, Rooney was playing for Everton. Arsenal were unbeaten in 30 games, but late in the match, Rooney picked up the ball, took a touch, and unleashed a rocket that flew past David Seaman. Goodison Park erupted. Remember the name, they said. And we did. That goal was the beginning of one of English football's greatest careers. The Manchester United legend was an Everton legend initially. But United have some amazing stories of their own. The ultimate super sub story. United were losing 1-0 to Bayern Munich in stoppage time. Teddy Sheringham equalized, and moments later, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer poked home the winner from a corner. Manchester United were the champions of Europe. Solskjaer, the baby-faced assassin, became immortal in United history with one kick of the ball. He even got to manage the club because of that one legendary performance. And more recently, a moment like that fell to Kobe Mainoo. Goals against bitter rivals Liverpool always feels great, but this one felt like a miracle. Most would expect Liverpool to walk all over United. They've been losing to Liverpool in recent times, and Mainu chose the best stage to cement his name in United history. With composure beyond his years, he received the ball at the edge of the area and curled it into the corner, and Old Trafford erupted. That was also his first professional goal at Old Trafford, and since then, he's been a regular starter for the Red Devils. No matter how good the goal, no one has ever had a goal named after them. Except this guy. And what better game to do it than the Euro 1976 final, the shootout between Czechoslovakia and West Germany. Antonin Panenka stepped up for the winning penalty, and instead of blasting it, he delicately chipped the ball down the middle as the keeper dived away. Audacious, brave, genius. That penalty won them the title and gave football a new word, the Panenka. One penalty kick that changed football forever. That one goal, that one moment. These memories that will be cherished forever and moments we'll never forget. Even a penalty created a legend. And speaking of penalties, check out this video to see some of the mind games involved when taking a penalty. See you there.